What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. It is Friday, August 19th. Actually, we're recording this on Thursday, so it's the 18th. But anyhow, if you listen to this, it's Friday, August 19th, and we've got a couple of things to talk about. We've got a really cool panel. Me and someone are going to go at it later on in the panel, in the show. Maybe not. We'll keep it civil. But there's a couple of things to talk about in regards to Godzilla, and that is always fun, and that's why we do this podcast. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce you to my panel. My two G-Show cohorts are not here today, so I'm flying solo, G1. But we got Alex, a.k.a. Mothra. What's going on, brother?
Hey, guys. Excited to be here like always.
Yes. We also got my main man, Gam Z1. What's up, brother?
Light shows.
Light shows. Indeed. From across the pond, we got one of my favorite mates in the whole wide world. You knew him as Manda, but now he goes by Gorgo. Leonard is back, baby. What's up, brother?
Everything's fine. I've got spicy meatballs to throw down and cause a lot of beef.
That's a spicy meatball. And finally, rounding out the panel, joining us for the first time on the Godzilla Block Party, on the G Show podcast in general, we have Dawn. What's up, girlfriend?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad you are here, and I can't wait because later on you're going to get your say at Shin Godzilla and your thoughts. But we'll get to that later. Let's start off with a topic G73 usually covers, but he's not here right now. He's on vacation. And that's the news. And the only thing in the news, well, there's a couple of things, but the first thing in the news is Shin Godzilla's box office. Last week it was knocked out of first place, if I'm not mistaken, by The Secret Life of Pets. I guess that was to be expected. But it still made some money. Not only that, in the process, it became one of the most successful Toho Godzilla movies ever made. So the box office in U.S. terms, in the dollar, it sits at $26 million. That's pretty freaking good. Now, that's just in Japan. We don't know how much this movie cost to be made, so we can't judge how successful it is when you compare what it cost to make to what it actually brought in. So I'm going to go down the line. I'm going to start with you, Gam Z1. What do you think about this $26 million box office take and it becoming one of the most, if not the most successful Toho-produced Godzilla film so far?
I'm actually really excited about it. And, judging on how, based on last podcast with my spitball of what the budget might be, even if it stops making money now in Japan, with the international pull-in, it might just make or surpass its budget. So it's probably going to be a pretty good success.
Gotcha. Alex, you want to chime in on that? What do you think about this box office?
Oh, it's very good. I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row with number one, and now it dipped to number two. You see, other movies lately, like Suicide Squad and stuff, they're dipping 70%. But for Shin Godzilla, it's dipping maybe 5-10% per week. That says it's very good and it's very strong legs. And I do want to point out that, the director of Godzilla, Anno, who did Evangelion, in those movies in the box office, they were actually equal in terms of Godzilla, and they were a big success in Japan. So if I was that director, I'll be very happy. It's the same legs as your creation. So props.
Nice. Dawn, what about you? What do you think about this box office?
I don't really follow the box office that much, personally. I don't really care how much money it makes as far as that. I just want to see a good movie.
I gotcha. All right. Not bad. And what about you going across the pond? Leonard, your thoughts on this box office?
It's very promising. Hearing that, especially after how big of a major flop the Millennium series was previously, especially Final Wars, even 2000, which was depressing considering, and how much lack of interest in Japan and in general the world for Godzilla at that point. No one cared. Everyone's like, fuck it. Like, it's promising and makes me happy to think, especially now that I know it's getting a UK release and later on in the year, probably after this year, if I'm being realistic. But it makes me go, great, it did well in Japan, fucking fantastic. But it raises the questions to me, it most likely will do well in Western parts of the world as it moves across the world. But another thing is with certain countries, I'm going to take the UK as a prime example, even America, it could do well, it could not, it's a massive toss-up, considering the fact that we had 2014 prior as well, which did really well. Other movies did better, like Transformers and X-Men, but that's what we're used to. It raised the question
that Age of Extinction not too long ago on Hulu, and it's just as much as a piece of garbage as everybody says it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not wasting my time with that movie.
Don't get me started on Bayformers, please. Not today, not now. Not now. I'll probably just boil up and die.
I like the first two. That's my opinion.
Pretty good. But yeah, like, it raises the question of how it will do West, but I have no doubt it will do well. But compared to other movies that will possibly come out, well, again, I could say biggest because it's obviously coming out late in the year. My biggest worries is if it comes out too close to December.
Oh yeah, yep.
Star Wars month.
Star Wars. But here's the thing.
If it comes out,
no, go ahead. I want to hear you.
If it comes out Star Wars month, in the West especially, shit could go down.
Yeah.
And we know how big Star Wars is. Like, Godzilla's been longer running, 60 years, fucking fantastic. But in terms of series comparison and fame and well-known comparison, Godzilla's ingrained in pop culture, yes, but Star Wars more so in a shorter length of time. If you say Star Wars, people were like, yes, Star Wars, it looks awesome. You say Godzilla and you need men in rubber suits, what the fuck? Like,
I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. That's so funny. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You nailed it. Here's the thing, though, and I don't know how it will work in the UK, but here in the States, I do not believe we're going to get a national release. This is going to be a very limited release.
Yeah, it's like 3 days, I believe. 3 or 4 days.
That's more than I honestly thought we were going to get. So if it is 3 or 4 days, I am totally fine with that, because if I do like this movie, I will see it every day it's in theaters. I will go and I will pay my money to see it each and every day. Of course, I got to like the movie, my first viewing. But I thought it would be maybe a 1 or 2 day thing, kind of like Attack on Titan was. I remember when Funimation brought out Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. That was a 1 day thing, a couple of shows. I wanted to go to that, didn't get a chance to, but it was just a 1 day thing. Also, I don't know how true this is. I haven't done the research. And like I said, my newsman, G73, is on vacation right now. Props to G73. What's up, brother? I heard this rumor that this movie's not going to be dubbed. It's going to be subtitled. And we've had the subtitled versus dub argument on this show many a times. People love subtitles, myself included. People can't stand subtitles. I'm not going to say G95, but he's not here to defend himself.
I can't stand it either.
So now that comes into play with the box office numbers out here. It is going to be just subtitled. How does that affect the numbers? Especially if it's just, let's say, 1 or 2 days in the theater. I'm hoping Gam Z1 is right. I'm hoping we get at least 4 or 5 days with this movie. But either way, how does that affect, whether it's 1 or 2 days or 3 to 5 days, how does that affect the box office if it's not dubbed, if it's subtitled? Because I forgot who brought this up before, but I think it was G73. But, sometimes people are lazy and they don't want to read. They like everything, audio. So let's start with you, Dawn. What do you think? If it's subtitled, how bad will it affect the box office here in the States?
Well, the general viewer doesn't want to read a movie. They want to watch it and be able to listen to it. I'm the same way. If I want to read, I'll get a freaking book.
To the point, direct. I love it. Gams, what about you?
I pretty much, like, I really hope that it gets a 4 to 5 day release, and I also hope that it's dubbed, because I have no faith in the general audience. The general audience treats Godzilla like a joke.
Yeah.
They treat Godzilla like, oh, it's just a guy, it's a fat man in a rubber suit, and bad dubbing with nobody's mouth matching the lip movements. That's how they see Godzilla.
Gotcha. Alex, what about you?
There's two things about it. Yes, you're right that people don't want to read it, but at the same time, the dubbing is what hurt Godzilla 2 in the general audience. I remember in Godzilla 2000, people were like, man, that was dubbed horribly, it did not match the lips, whatever. And if you dub it, it could confuse the general audience with 2014. If you keep it sub, clearly it's different than 2014. So you go, okay, this is a foreign movie. Godzilla's different than people Japanese. They talk like Japanese, So that's where it's the balance of where it should be or not. So.
Gotcha. And
also, Attack on Titan was also subbed, and I think Funimation, whoever,
But Attack on Titan and Godzilla are two totally different things. Everybody says, oh, Attack on Titan was subbed. That's Attack on Titan. Nobody in the general audience knows what the fuck Attack on Titan is.
Yeah, of course. But I don't think Funimation I think they really want to release it just for the Godzilla fans. Otherwise, they would release it, all the whole month or whatever instead of 3 days.
that is a great point. That is a really good point, Alex. The fact that they're going to release it for a specific niche, and that's us, the Godzilla fans. Man, that's a great point. Jumping across the pond. Leonard, let me ask you, because I don't know how it would be released out there for you. Will it be a couple of days like we're predicting for us out here? Or do you think you're going to get, like, let's say a month with this movie? And will subtitles affect it?
Here it's a bit of a hard judge because we rarely ever get limited releases. Very rare. The last from a limited release, I don't think we didn't get an Attack on Titan limited release. That I know. Otherwise, I would have gone and seen it. But it's not online. I was thoroughly disappointed like everyone else. But I know we got Dragon Ball limited releases. We definitely got Resurrection of Battle for Gods limited releases because they nearly went to Resurrection of S. Nearly. But it was like halfway across the fucking country. I can't drive. There's only so much money I could put into this. I can't. But most likely, knowing it's going to be released, it's definitely going to be a day or a few days release. Definitely. As of where in the UK and how many places it's released in, don't know. Okay. I know there's a small theatre cinema, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in my city. But as to what that shows, it tends to be a bit more mainstream. Like, the last thing I saw they were showing was Ghostbusters. Of course, I'm not.
Sorry about that.
I've never seen a Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, yeah.
Never. Don't want to.
We're going to have her on a lot more podcasts that are outside of Godzilla because we're going to have conversations. Keep going, Leonard.
But it's going to be weird here. But as for how if subbing affects it or not, again, I can't really say. Because, my point was actually nailed earlier with what Alex said was it is targeted towards a specific niche, us. General audience, not in Japan, yeah, general audience, because he's well known over there. That's a point I think I remember making the first time I was on, if not the first couple of times I was on this podcast. Japan is a general audience, of course it's going to do well there. He's come back, no matter what light he's in, Godzilla's a well-loved icon.
Exactly. Yep.
Massively. Mascot for the whole country, effectively. And so everyone's like, boom, done. Done well. As for the West, they already know Godzilla's reputation in the West. They already know that he's mocked out of for what happened during the 60s and 70s with the dubbing and the rights to various different studios and companies there. And so they're like, right, general audience, maybe. Let's leave that to the West. Let's leave that to Legendary. Because, of course, they know how they're targeting the Western audiences and how they're directing the Legendary Godzilla, which they did really well. They were like, but big action, soldiers, guns, done. But in terms of us with theirs, which is a depressing film, back to its roots, Hideaki Anno, who's one of the most depressing directors on this earth after watching Evangelion. it's they're like, right, we need to target the niche audiences. So it won't. I think it won't affect it massively. Yeah, it will have all a number of box office record because it's going to be a limited release. Only the fans are effectively going to see it unless they drag a bunch of people on with it, or people are like, oh hey, it's Godzilla, let's go watch it, and it may be a G2000 situation again. Who knows? But I don't think it won't matter much at all. It's going to have the figures for the West, and it will probably be underwhelming compared to the East. But because East, as far as I know, Eastern countries are getting a more theatrical release compared to the West limited anyway. Especially if I'm going by Singapore and whatnot like that.
Right.
I think they're getting more theatrical release because they've got massive adverts for it as well. And I'm like, fair enough. Over here, it's going to be underwhelming, but it's, again, I kind of expected that considering they're going to have to target us carefully.
Gotcha. All right, hang on. I'm going to try to get someone else up in here. But before we do that, you made a very good point. You said Anno is a very depressing filmmaker. And that segues into our next topic, depression. Because, let's be for real here, when that spoiler trailer came out last week, and I think we've all seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I saw it.
Okay.
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw it.
All right. So we know, and we're not gonna go full tilt into the spoilers. We're just gonna talk about the trailer in general. We're gonna talk about the reaction because, as you said, Leonard, depression. Some people were depressed. Some people were loving it. It was a big thing. So you have your loves, you have your hates for this trailer. Okay? I want to know, what do you guys think about the fan reaction? Is it justified or what? And I see you smiling over there, Leonard. We're not there yet. We're going to get there. I see you. But my question is the love and the hate justified? Are they both justified? And I'm going to start with you, Alex.
Alright, so I think this is very mixed. There are people that hated Shin Godzilla before, and they said that he was too stiff, and this trailer showed him actually moving a bit, and it got people excited, and his new powers, etc. So it was like, this won't be as bad, and then there's the other side of things that hated it because it spoiled a lot. It's kind of like Batman vs. Superman when they showed Darkseid in that last trailer. Doomsday, a lot of people were pissed that trailers these days are spoiling a lot after like the third trailer release. So I think it's justified on both sides.
Gotcha. Dawn, your thoughts?
I'm one of those. I didn't like the idea of the movie to start with, and after seeing the trailer, I don't like it now.
All right. We're gonna get. Oh, save the bullets. Save the bullets. Let's jump to you, Leonard. Well, what do you think? Fan reaction? Is it negative, positive? What's your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to try and word this so I don't go into my argument.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to word this very carefully. In a way, it can be. In a way, it can't. I don't think it fully is, considering in what they showed. I'm like, I don't really care about what they showed. It looks cool. That's cool, as long as it isn't plot details, which it isn't. That's where it crosses the line for me. The reason why I was number one pissed about Batman vs Superman, I enjoyed the film, but I was pissed about it because it's Doomsday. Just by showing Doomsday in those trailers, they revealed the whole fucking plot. Yep. It's like Batman vs
I didn't
Superman.
like the movie.
Fair enough. I was in the middle. But there's okay, Batman vs Superman fight, Wonder Woman happens, they all team together, fight Doomsday, Lex Luthor loses. Cool, that's the plot. Everyone called it from the start, that's exactly what the film was. And it's like, well, there we go. Why I didn't pay money to see the film, I did the naughty thing. But as long as they don't reveal plot details, that, for me, people getting unjustifiably angry is when they reveal plot details. That's understandable. If they reveal plot details to try, if not the whole plot to hype people up their film, then you know they're not doing well on making the film in the first place. If you have to reveal, this is our enemy, and in the end the whole plot, then you know it's going to be a shit film if they're going to do that to hype it up immediately. But if it's what they did show, I'm trying to word this so carefully. What they did show, which wasn't pop deals, it was just some cool looking shit, which was made for the hype. It's fine. You know what? For some people, it can be justified, yes, because they don't want to be spoiled anything. But if you don't want to be spoiled anything in the first place, why the fuck are you watching the trailers?
Don't click on the trailer that says spoiler.
Don't click on a trailer in general. If you're like, I want to go in this film with a clear mind, I don't know what's going to happen. Just don't watch a trailer. You have the option. It's like, you see Shin Godzilla trailer, he was like, I don't want to be spoiled. I'm going to fucking watch that then, aren't I? Like, no. I need to stop now. That's basically it. Yeah.
Well, he went on a mini rant without giving up anything. I love it. Before we get to Gam Z1, we are going to have a special guest join us. Well, not special guest. She's been on the podcast before. Let's get her in here. Final Goji.
But she refuses to see the trailers, so we can't talk about the trailer in depth.
No, we're not going to talk about the trailer in depth, though. We're going to skirt around it the way Leonard just did it. We're just going to talk about special things, abilities.
Talking about those special things and special abilities is spoilers.
Not if you do it the correct way.
I mean, okay.
You trust me to do it the correct way.
Trust me. Well, you'll see. Trust me. So anyhow,
Oh no.
while that's going, Gams, what about you? Oh, wait. Are we on? Let's see. Do we have Final Goji with us? I think she's setting up. I think she is setting. Oh, wait. There she is.
There we go. I couldn't hear you there for a second.
Well, now that you are here, what's up, girl?
Good. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. And yes, you are here. Not at the halfway point yet. You got some time. We are right now. We just discussed the box office and the records it set. We also discussed whether or not we think subtitles will affect the box office depending on the release, whether it's limited or not. And right now we're talking about fan reactions to those spoiler trailers, which I know you didn't watch. Or did you?
No, I've just seen screenshots of it.
Okay, that's well, you saw things.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So we're gonna jump to Gams. Before we get to you, I want to hear your opinion on this. But Gams, your opinion on the fan reaction, whether is the love or hate justified?
I mean, you know, it's a spoiler trailer. Yeah, like when the trailer first dropped, it didn't say spoilers, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, we weren't ready for these kinds of things." And you know, that initial anger, yeah, that's justified, and the excitement for the things that are in the trailer after the fact, like after the initial anger settled down, and then the oh my god, this is so cool. Those are also justified in my opinion. But you know, it's a trailer, and just like Goro said, if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch it.
Right. Let's jump to you, Final Goji. You are here live, and your thoughts, justification on people hating on the trailer or loving the trailer. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's pretty much a fan reaction. Why would you watch the trailer if you didn't want to be spoiled? So I don't understand why people are hating on that. Maybe they were expecting to see something that they were envisioning with this movie, and that perhaps they didn't see it, so that's why they're angry. Or it could be that, you know, they're being spoiled. I don't know, because I haven't seen it, so I don't know what plot elements are shown, but it could be that as well. But in terms of people being excited, I mean, it's good, I guess. It's good to be excited for this movie, for it to come out and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, so I got your feelings. I feel the same way. Why watch it if it's a spoiler? I knew what I was getting myself into. I didn't want to do it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And you know, there were things, and that's the topic of the debate later. They were things, but I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. Look, it's Godzilla. At the end of the day, I still love Godzilla, depending on the movie in general. And I've said this a million times on this podcast. Gotta see it in context. And my good friend Gam Z1 and my good friend G73, who has read the spoilers, know the movie inside out without seeing the movie unabashedly, has told me, wait till you see it in context. So I take their word for it. I'm waiting. That being said, because you just joined us, Final G, I wanna ask you a couple of questions we went over already. I just want to get your opinions and thoughts on these things. First off, the box office record. How do you feel about that? Are you excited? Shin Goji is like Toho's #1 produced Godzilla movie like that they've ever done. The money's coming in $26 million as of today, or maybe as of Wednesday. Who knows? How do you feel about that?
Oh, so relieved. I was really thinking that it was just going to have maybe a good couple of weeks and then it would start to go down, but really glad it went up. I believe it didn't beat Godzilla 2000. I believe it did for box office records. But other than that, yeah, I'm actually really glad that it went beyond my expectations for money wise. But I'm hoping it'll grow more. But it's up to a really good start.
It seems that every time America produces a Godzilla movie, the next Toho Godzilla movie makes a buttload of money. Okay, because we had 98, we got 2000, which up until this point was the #1 Toho produced Godzilla movie. And now we had G14, and you get Shinji, and it just toppled G2000. I guess Toho's going to be like, hey, America, hey, Legendary, make another one. Come on, keep it coming. So
you know what also helps them too? Good reviews. Because 2000 also had good reviews along with Shin Godzilla, unlike Final Wars.
Unlike Final Wars, which is probably why Final Wars didn't get that type of release out here. But again, I think it was Leonard who said it earlier. The Millennium Saga just didn't catch anyhow. And, that's what it is. So, okay, we talked about that. Final G, let me ask you this question. Limited release, because you are from Canada. We're from the States. Leonard's across the pond. Limited release. If it's subtitled or dubbed, what would affect it more as far as making some money? Because we know already off the bat with a limited release, you're not looking at insane numbers. But if it's subtitled, does it affect it more than if it's dubbed? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. That's kind of tough because from my standpoint, if it gets released with both a dub and a sub, I'm still going to watch it regardless. Although I prefer subs than dub because something with the translation, could mix the message around. And I know that happens a lot for foreign films because examples could be from Studio Ghibli with their films. But in terms of that, I don't know, it's hard because foreign films, they usually don't do well. Actually, it could do well, but it depends on how you market it. Because if it's only a limited release in small theaters, then of course it's not going to make a load of money. I just wish that it'll hopefully it'll get around to the big theaters, and then maybe it will grow some more cash for Toho.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hope it's subbed. That's just me. I mean, yeah, because I like subtitles. That's just me. I'm old school. It comes through more because I like to see the actor's performance. And I don't want it tarnished by someone who's just getting a paycheck coming to say, well, it looks like Godzilla. Like Gam Z1 loves to say.
He's coming right for us.
Yeah, things like that it takes me out of the experience. It ruins it for me, and I don't like that. So I like to read the subtitles because not only am I hearing how the actors are portraying the scene and how they emote, I don't have to deal with shitty dub. Which Yeah, which unfortunately Godzilla movies and kaiju movies in general just get a bad rap from, because they are exquisite kaiju
But here's the
movies.
flip side. It's Funimation. They're one of the best dubbers out there.
Yeah, I know that, but it's also so quick. You know what I mean? Because, all right, and I'll probably take slack for this, and I don't really care. Funimation, I have the app, and I've subscribed to it, and I'm a lifelong subscriber to it. I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z. Fuck it, I love Dragon Ball GT. I don't care. But what I don't like is the dubs. I don't like them. I'd rather watch it subtitled. And people be like, oh, but Goku's it sounds like a girl. It's a fucking woman doing a voice. But she emotes. She gives him, for me, personally, she gives him more gravitas than the actor who, honestly, I don't, the dubbing actor. What was his name?
So you said Sean Shamel doesn't emote.
What I'm saying is this. I get more emotion from the Japanese woman than I do from him. You understand? When you look at, that's how I feel. But again, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not trying to force the subtitles on you. That's just my personal opinion. When Krillin died and he went Super Saiyan, I felt more watching the Japanese version than I did watching that shit on Toonami. I really did. I was like, wow, like shit. They bring it. And that's how I felt with Godzilla movies.
Have you seen the Kai dub?
I've seen a couple of episodes of Kai, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not a fan. I just gotta be honest. I'm not a fan.
I like the Kai dub.
I like the dice dub too. I was actually gonna say something about the dub. The one thing I don't like about dubbing compared to subbing is like the original like content, word to word. Dubbing, they change words around, they cut scenes. Like in 2000, they really like heavily edited that movie. Like there's scenes going out there. A lot of the lines did not match the Japanese version. So if I want to see like how the movie should be written, it should be subbed.
But see, even the director of the original Japanese version prefers the American one. So
To what?
to his version.
What?
He
To what?
himself
Godzilla
directed.
2000?
The director of Godzilla 2000, the original Japanese version, prefers the American edit over his own version.
I'm not worried about the edit. I'm worried about the dubbing. That's my whole thing. It's not the edit. Honestly, I'm going to see the same. Pretty much the movie's going to be the same movie. You understand? It's the way the actors portray those characters. I'd rather see an actor getting paid to be in this movie do what he does, instead of hearing somebody who just wants to collect a paycheck dub over that voice. You know, especially for instance, for me, the Showa series, I grew up on them, so maybe it's a little biased because I grew up on those dubs. But those actors back then, the dubbers, they came through. They did their thing. I tried to watch a Hesai movie dubbed. I shut that shit right off. Get the fuck out of here. Terrible. I was in New York a couple of weeks ago. I'm coming home. I put GMK on. And I thought I was going to get the subtitle version. It was the dubbed version. Terrible. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? I didn't get by 3 minutes of that movie. Shut it off. I watched Final Wars. It was dubbed. Fuck that. I mean, it was subtitled. Fuck that. So that's what I'm saying. It's not about the editing. It's not about how the movie's pacing itself. It's about how these voice actors are just going in to get a paycheck. They're not paying attention to the context of the movie. They're not emoting the right way, and that's what I don't like. Now, that being said, I'm sure Funimation has the proper way of doing things. But at this point in the game, I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be a subtitled movie. Anybody got any opinions on that?
If it's subtitled, I'm not watching it. I'm just saying.
Same.
So there it is, and that was the question. Will it affect if it's subtitled or not? And you just answered that question. Perfect. That's what I'm talking about. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes. The showdown, if you will. It's not even a showdown. Look, ladies and gentlemen, G-Show Land. The spoiler trailer came out last week, and without getting into spoilers, okay, because if you want to know the spoilers, there's a spoiler podcast up right now. You can go and check that out. But what we are going to discuss, what we're going to discuss is Godzilla from the beginning of Godzilla to now, and how he has constantly evolved. You see how I'm doing this? You see how I'm doing this? I'm making it work. How he has constantly evolved. And why some people might be upset from what they seen last week when that spoilerific trailer dropped. And how some other people could say, or are saying, get over it, we've seen it before. How's that, Leonard? I'm looking at you. So, I mean, I think that was pretty good. That was a good segue.
Pretty spot on, I must say.
Pretty spot on, huh? Without spoiling anything, right?
That was beautiful.
Shit, I'm old, man. That's what happens. You learn a lot.
I'm formulating what's going on in my head, and I've got it all planned out without spoilers.
And I like it because that's how we're gonna go. But before we get into it, because I'm sure it's gonna come down to me versus all of y'all. Hopefully not. But I think that's probably how it's going to go. Old school versus the new. Let me ask you guys this. I'm going to go all of y'all down the line. I'm going to start with Dawn, hit Gam Gam. I'm jumping over Leonard. I'm going to hit Final G, and I'm hitting Alex. Let's go down the line. Well, Final G didn't really see the trailer, but she saw screenshots. Without spoiling anything, what were your reactions? Okay? I'm going to start with you, Dawn. Your reaction to what you saw in that trailer that was in the oh shit moment.
I think I facepalmed several times through the movie.
Okay.
Through the trailer of just, what the hell have they done to my monster?
Okay. So you see? Not spoiling nothing. Specific and to the point. Let's see if Gam Gam Z1 can top that.
I can't top that. I can't talk about it without actually talking about it. So
you can. Guess what? Dawn just did it.
Anything else is just repeating what Dawn said.
Well, that's true. Well, try to formulate it in your own words.
I mean, it's wacky. It's crazy. It's out there. It's totally Anno. Something that he would do. And, you know, some people hate it, some people love it. I'm in the boat that, okay, it's kind of stupid.
That's
pretty much it.
Perfect. See, you could do it. Don't say you can't do it. You did it. You just did it.
Now I had one job. I'm sorry.
And he nailed it. Now here's where it gets tricky. Because my girl, she didn't watch the trailer, but she saw screenshots. And being down with GVA, I'm sure you've seen a lot more than just screenshots. Because I've seen things, and I'm not even an admin there. But you guys are killing it. And much props to GVA right now. Massive props. Shinji, I see you, motherfucker. Final Goji. What are your thoughts? Like, exactly what I asked them, I'm asking you.
Okay.
From what you saw.
Absolute insanity. Honestly, this just screams, I don't know, it screams Attack on Titan, Evangelion. It feels like a combination of both, and since I'm a fan of both, I'm glad to see that because I really love this stuff. From what I've seen of the screenshots, Kaiju A and I don't know if Kaiju B was in there, but I didn't see.
Kaiju B was not in the trailer.
No, okay. Then Kaiju A, strange, but I'm interested to see where it's going to go. I'm not going to judge it based on first glance, but from what I saw, it just gets me more excited for this movie. I'm not going to hate on it until I see it, but I'm going to have to admit that Kaiju A design is kind of a little goofy, but I'll deal with it.
See, she's talking about Kaiju A. She's not talking about what we're talking about, and we're going to keep it spoiler-free, and I can do it. Trust me when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be able to do it. I want to see if Leonard can, but I'm not going to him yet. Alex, your thoughts?
Okay. Let me put it this way. Just like Final G said, Jerry Ano, I'm a huge Evangelion fan. And I don't know if anyone else has seen like Evangelion, like, the mechs that have abilities. And for the half of the series, they're just regular robots fighting with guns and all this stuff. And then they start evolving into weird shit you did not expect. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I've never seen Evangelion or Attack on Titan. So.
And Ano definitely put that into this Godzilla. The same way as like in the 90s when Godzilla got the atomic pulse, or when Godzilla changed into a good guy from a bad guy, or when he evolved to any of these versions throughout his career. This Godzilla has gone the most changes within from, Final Wars to now. But I'm excited because I'm such a big Ano fan. And to me, it fits Godzilla in a way it doesn't at the same time, but it makes it more interesting to go with the new design and I guess the new future of Godzilla. So that's where I'm going to put it as.
All right. So I like your answer. Like Dawn, I have not seen Evangelion. I've seen Attack on Titan, the anime, up until episode 17, which is when I stopped, and I've not seen the movie yet. So that leaves me and you, Leonard. And your eyes are telling a story right now. I wish everybody at G-Show Land could see it. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This is the debate. Okay. You know what? Let me just put it out here like this. I'm gonna have you start off, Leonard, without spoiling nothing. I want you to talk about your rant you put up on Gargo the other day.
Okay. Right. Basically, that rant is basically on the general reception of what was shown. That rant is specifically me disagreeing and ultimately making about 100 more enemies once more. People want me to get me at this point after what I've said. Basically, my rant was basically a general consensus of this massive disagreement on what people think of what was shown. I can't. I really want to describe, but I can't, and it kills me. But because that restricts what I'm going to say so much. It basically is a massive disagreement because a lot of people find what is happening. Yes, phrasing is absolutely stupid. It's crossed the line too far. Is it really? Is it bloody really? Because it isn't. That's the thing. Godzilla's encompassed so much stupid shit over 60 years and still does to this day. Let's look at the Showa era for a prime example.
Let's go.
Excluding 1954 here. 1954 was fucking stupid premises here. As much as I treat that film as a sacred holy grail, there's still some little stupid shit here and there, especially in King of the Monsters. But Tailslide, flying with steam breath. Random acid trips for God knows what reason. Googly eyes, Godzilla's revenge in a nutshell. Son of Godzilla. All this, even Heisei's got some stupid shit. Nuclear Pulse was just weird in some ways.
Sorry.
I hope he can explode now.
Totally disagree, but go ahead.
He can explode now. Godzilla being a living nuclear reactor, defying all laws of science and logic since the beginning, in a way it's stupid. It's a cool idea. It's stupid. It's not the most stupid it's ever done, like fucking flying with steam breath, which is physically impossible in every single sense of the word. What he is doing in the trailer is far from it. Out of anything, it actually fits what Godzilla is, especially with Ano's ideas and imagination. It fits so bloody perfectly. Because what Godzilla is in that film is what he was in 1954. A force of bloody nature. Something to be terrified of. Something that could do God knows what. The thing with Godzilla is we don't know what he can do. We don't know what he is capable of. That's why he constantly changes throughout the years. He goes from 1954, he breathes fire, he won't die until we make a super weapon, done. He goes from that to ripping Angurus's throat out. He goes from that to tail sliding. He goes from that to flying. We don't know what he can do. At all. In that concept, it makes all of Godzilla a stupid idea. This is just me taking a massive shit dump on the whole series now, I just realized. Everyone's going to hate me soon.
Welcome to the G Show.
But it's totally right, though.
It's Godzilla is supposed to be something unreliable. We don't know what he can do. Whether he's good, whether he's bad, we don't know what he can do. He is changing. He is evolving to every state, every bite, to the point he nearly takes the planet out with him. So very nearly. And not even the literal embodiment of the oxygen destroyer, which originally killed him, could stop that. He evolved beyond the point. The literal embodiment of effectively Satan just couldn't stop it. That's the whole idea of it. So saying what he can do is stupid in every sense of the word in the new film makes no sense to me. Because if you can say that's stupid, how the actual fuck can you say what he's done in the past isn't, and say that isn't going too far? It doesn't fit. Yes, it kind of fits in the certain, because I know that's going to be a point from someone here. It's like it fits the certain character of what he is in certain films. It does. It doesn't stop it from being fucking stupid. It doesn't stop it. I mean, I'm not saying that it takes Godzilla out of what he is. It doesn't in any sense of the word. It fits each ability he does. Everything he does, no matter what it is, fits the certain character he is. Tail slide, it's goofy as fuck. It was targeted towards a children's audience. It fit. It perfectly fit. Everything he's doing in the new film, it fits what he is. Exploding, it fits that Godzilla in context. I'm sure in context with the new film, it's going to fit. It fits him.
Knowing everything about the plot like I do, and knowing Godzilla's origin, doing those things actually does make sense.
Well,
there we go.
Listen,
that's basically it. Everything he does fits. Saying what he does now is stupid just goes against everything we know about Godzilla at this point. Absolutely everything.
You need to be knighted by the queen.
And this is where I disagree. And I appreciate your counter argument. And you kind of 8-miled me there. You did a little Eminem there where you started spitting. Oh, I know they're going to say this and I know I'm going to say that, but I'm still coming at you. Because here's the thing. This is a brand new fucking take on Godzilla. Am I right?
Every take is.
No, it's not. You're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. This is a brand new take on Godzilla. It has nothing to do with any of the history. Ano has said that. We've discussed this in previous podcasts. Brand new take on Godzilla. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
I'm not. Thank you. So, that being said, you go back to the Showa era, okay? Here's the thing. And yes, we're going to talk about how it fit the model of that movie. But you got to remember one thing. Even though it was loosely translated, it was still sort of a continuation, that Showa series, because that's where the wacky happened, right? But when Godzilla started, there was no wacky. So there was a giant dinosaur that can breathe atomic breath. Nobody's ever seen nothing like that, and none of us were born when that happened. None of us, not even myself, okay? We fell in love because he can breathe atomic breath and he's a giant dinosaur. We fell in love with that thing. Over the years, in the Showa series, he had evolved. And that's the word you forgot to mention. Evolved. He evolved like a fucking Pokemon, okay? He went from being a destroyer of worlds to an anti-hero to a flat-out superhero. He evolved in that Showa era. He did. And you see that. We've all seen the movies. You've seen how it went. And each evolution, and again, loosely tied together. I'm not saying they all fit like the Heisei series did. The Heisei was one collective story, which I love. You had Godzilla doing things that, yes, may have fit the model for that movie, but It wasn't out of the realm of possibility. For instance, Godzilla did not fly in Ghidorah the three-headed monster. You see what I'm saying? Because that would have been absolutely out of whack. He started to fly when he became the superhero of that time in the 70s. When he evolved into this superhero, he started to fly. He did the stupid, and don't get me wrong, I totally agree. When I watch it, now as an adult, my eyes roll. But it's that nostalgia kick for me that I'm like, man, I remember loving that as a kid. Godzilla can fly. It's crazy, but it's what it is. But that was a part in history where it deemed it necessary. It didn't happen on some, well, he's an anti-hero. He's like the Punisher, let's say. He's like the Punisher. He doesn't care who gets in his way. He's killing everybody just to get to the bad guy, and then he's flying. That's weird. No. He was a superhero. When the bad monster came, people were looking for Godzilla to come. Here comes Godzilla. Kicking ass, taking aim. Why? Because he's the hero. Okay? So he evolved with each... When his stupid abilities in the Showa era came to fruition, he was already a superhero. He already was. And that's when the children loved him. Okay? You get the Heisei Saga. We definitely disagree with the nuclear pulse. I think it is the greatest fucking gift to Godzilla ever. I love it. Outside of the atomic beam.
Yeah, I agree with it as well.
The atomic pulse was so fucking necessary, and they did it right off the bat. In Biollante, they showed you right off the bat, he can do this. And he can do this because it's like an animal trapped in a corner, which he was. Biollante had him wrapped around. How's he getting out of it? Boom! Nuclear pulse. Blast Biollante off of him, gets free, lets loose with the atomic breath, and they've done it in all the Heisei series. They were showing it. Like, they set that up. So whenever I saw that pulse, I knew. So, and perfect example, Godzilla 2000, when Auger was eating him, and he pulsed, I was like, yeah,
that was awesome.
It was awesome. I was like, fuck yeah. But they showed it right off the bat. It wasn't a surprise. It was a different take on Godzilla. It wasn't the superhero Showa shit because 1984 established that. We're going back to basics. He's a terror. And in that Heisei series, he never became a superhero. He was always he became an anti-hero with Space Godzilla. Because they were trying to kill him in Mechagodzilla. They were trying to kill him in Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. I mean, they freaking made the Mecha King Ghidorah to come back in time trying to defeat Godzilla. They were always trying to stop him. He was the force of nature that he was back in 1954. He wasn't a superhero. It wasn't until Space Godzilla came down where he became, well, we might need Godzilla. We might need him. And then in Destroyer threw it all away because he was like, oh shit, he melts down, the world's over. We're fucked. They had to find a way to stop him. Okay? But none of that was stupid. It made sense in the context of the story, which I'm going to get to right now with Shinji because I'm sure, which I haven't seen, the context of this story, these things that we've seen in this previous trailer will make sense. That being all said, though, this is a brand new take on Godzilla, something that we've never seen before. They're cutting all ties to the previous series, and they're starting off like this. It's stupid. Because right off the bat, we have things that the people who have been with Godzilla in his 60-plus years, or in our cases, 30-some-odd plus years, 20-some-odd plus years. You see what I'm saying? This changes that face. There is no lead into him being able to... It's just, hey, check this out because I'm Anno and I do crazy things. Check it out. Even Kitamura didn't do stupid shit like that. What he did... His style in Final Wars was delegated to the mutants. And trust me, I like Kitamura movies. I love Azumi. I love Alive. I am a diehard fan of Versus, which, damn it, it's in my room right there. But I just bought another one because my old DVD copies crapped out on me. He used his style with the mutants as far as Godzilla goes. And this is why a lot of people hate that movie. And it bombed at the box office. It was not a representation of what a 50th anniversary Godzilla movie should have been. It was a remake of Destroy All Monsters. I like that movie. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't. I could live with that. but he never changed. I mean, with the exception of, and the movie was already out of fucking hand, with the exception of him being able to blast Grand or Kaiser Ghidorah into space and blow him to smithereens with like the ultimate infinity beam, but the movie was already out of whack. It was already out of whack. We have no basis for this particular Godzilla. So when I see these things in that trailer, I'm sitting here saying, what the fuck? And that's why. There's no evolution. There's no basis for it. This is why I'm like, how can you go and say, well, he's done stupid things in the past? He has done stupid things in the past, but it's built up to it. There has been reasons for him to do it. And again, you've seen him transform into terror, to anti-hero, to superhero. And in each one of those transitions, he's done something stupid. Now, they were definitely one and done. You've never seen him do the kangaroo kick again. You've never seen him fly again. You've never seen him magnetize again, even though, I don't know, this trailer showed some shit that I was like...
Okay, I do have to say something.
Yeah.
Megaguirus is flying kick.
Okay, and you know what? The Megaguirus thing, because this is the Millennium series in a whole, look at each one of those movies except the Kiryu Saga. One and done, one and done, one and done, one and done. They were just trying to find a new version of Godzilla. The Megaguirus was their first attempt to bring it back to that Showa era camp. And it failed. And it failed. People, when they see that stupid Godzilla jump shit, and even that is more plausible than what I've seen in this trailer, because it's a physical thing instead of this really wacky, what the hell's going on light show. Speaking of lights. Hey, lights. Illumination. So that's my whole reason why I can't sit here and agree with you when you say he's done so many stupid things in the past, get over it. No, it was built up to that. There were reasons. You see what I'm saying?
Have a counter.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Reasons for this one too, because he's evolving. It's not the 50s Godzilla, it's a total new take, so that's the reason for this.
But I get that. I totally get that. But you know what? 98 was a different Godzilla. 2014 was a different Godzilla. And 16 is a different Godzilla. They're all different beings. They have no ties to the original at all. At all. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that G16 Shinji had ties to 54. Then maybe, because again, when we all first saw those first images, we would think, everybody thought, he's regenerating from the oxygen destroyer. If that was the case and things happened in that movie that we saw in the trailer, then maybe, yes, that's a thing. But again, I can't say anything other than what I saw in this trailer, because again, out of context, it was stupid. Mm-hmm. But Gam Z1, he knows he knows the shit. He read everything, and he's saying it's in context. My point is this: you can't say, why are people mad at this when you should be mad at flying or kangaroo kicking or magnetizing when there was an evolution that built up to that. You know, I don't know my Pokemon shit like that, but I'm saying like, where the Pikachu jumps to Raichu, right? Or Mew goes to Mewtwo and he's more powerful. That you can take that and say, yo, this is what Godzilla had. He evolved and he gained these silly ass abilities that they never showed again. Except for the pulse, which ain't silly. You're crazy, Leonard. Absolutely insane about the pulse. You're nuts. I love
you. Doesn't evolve in Mewtwo.
What?
You does not evolve into Mewtwo.
See that? My Pokemon game is nothing. It sucks. I don't know Pokemon. Anyway, that's my... Leonard, please counterattack like the second Godzilla movie.
Was there really an evolution, though?
Go ahead.
Was there really? To Godzilla doing his abilities ever? This is what I'm thinking right now. Was there really an evolution and a reason? Yes, he was the hero. But more or less, that was just pandering to a demographic. Oh God, we need children to watch our film again. We need them to watch A Reason Why It's Godzilla. How do we get it? I don't fucking know. Get him to kangaroo kick a giant insect. Will we ever do it? Okay, now let's go. Let's forget that ever happened now, quickly, before we get ridiculed. Oh, well, are we going to do this again in this acid trip of a film? We're not sure it's for kids. We're not sure he's really the A guy just melted alive in front of them. What do we do? Well, we're already high. Let's make him fly. Basically, the hell run down a head.
And I totally get you on that. I totally buy that. But it's still a part of that particular series. It evolved from what 54 was. It kept going. Like every year we were getting a Godzilla movie. Every year. And then think about it like this. You had Gigan and Megalon is, I would guess, the sequel to Gigan, right? Then we had Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, and then Terror Mechagodzilla is the sequel to that. So these movies did coexist together. They tied in together. There were some tie-ins. And in each one of those movies, there was a wacky fucking power. Whether or not they continued the trend or not. The fact was, it was there. And the reason is because Godzilla had evolved into a heroic figure. Yes, they were making it for kids. But dude, none of us were alive at that time. Because if we were, and we were children, we would have been eating that up. The way most of the older Godzilla fans do now. They hold that Showa series in such high regard. Because they were children when Godzilla was a hero. We had the fortune of seeing Godzilla in all stages of his career up until the Heisei Saga. We had that up. Well, that's just me speaking for myself. You guys had the opportunity to see it up until the Millennium Saga. So you got to see the Heisei Saga too. You see what I'm saying? In one swift blow.
Yeah.
These Godzilla evolved. And I'm not talking about in the script it called for, well, in this movie, Godzilla's going to... I'm talking about in general. We've seen in that particular series the evolution from terror to anti-hero to superhero. We've seen the evolution. They didn't skimp anything. This movie goes straight to the wacky and bizarre. With nothing ahead of it, with nothing before it. And I'm telling you again, if they said this movie tied into 54 and then for whatever, because I would have bought this craziness. And that's what I'm going to call it. Crazy. Because crazy could mean I love it. Crazy could mean I hate it. I won't call it stupid. I'm going to call it crazy because, again, I haven't seen it in context yet. But that's my whole point. We have no context for this movie. If they said 54 was a part of this, like all other Godzilla movies, I've definitely taken it with a grain of salt, and I understand. But this is different, man. This is just straight up, flat out, boom, here it is, and nothing comes before it. This is the first. So what are you telling me that in the next movie, because this movie is right now the most successful Toho Godzilla movie ever made. Are you telling me that if they make a sequel, we're going to get more of that? I'm out. I don't want to deal with it. When's 24?
Exactly.
When's Legendary 2 coming out? Where's Kong Skull Island? I need my American version. I'll go back and watch Gino. Fuck the haters. I go back.
I like Gino.
We'll get to that. But that's all I'm saying. It's just you.
The thing is, the thing. Well, I'm trying to formulate my argument without absolutely bouncing off the walls in every respective regard. I am actually holding myself back in every respect of word, otherwise I will shout my house down and wake everyone up. But why can't he do this? You say there's no context in front of this. There's nothing for it. How long is the film?
I don't know.
Do we know the runtime?
2 hours. I think it's 2 hours. I think it might be.
I think it's 2 hours. 2 hours sounds right.
When do we know he's going to pull off these abilities in the film? Later or earlier?
We have no
Probably
clue.
later.
Again,
There we go. We're going to have some, although it's not a movie series long buffer time for us for him to get those abilities. Yes, it's definitely not 10 years of time. But we'll still have enough time for him to find out why he's got these. Why he's doing it. How he got these. Which is my main problem with the nuclear pulse, because that just, as cool as it is, I do like the nuclear pulse in the fact that it is cool as fuck. It just happens, and I'm like, but why though? It just happens. But, like, which is my main problem with the abilities in Showa. There's like, but why though? Again, you explained, it's a development, but I'm still like, but why? Sorry. Mm-hmm. No, you go ahead.
I think if they had avoided showing the abilities in the trailer and we went in without knowing it, I think it might be better. But now that they've shown it and we're all just kind of like, what the fuck's going on?
That I agree with. And I totally get that. Because it's... Again, but it was a spoiler trailer. And for those like myself who didn't want to spoil itself, but then said, fuck it, I'm going to spoil myself. it didn't ruin the movie. Again, it's crazy. It's not stupid. It's crazy. It's the concept is crazy. It's a very high concept.
Yeah.
And it can work or it can't work. Now, again, with Gam Gam, and let's even say G73 said, wait till you see the context of them. That's fine. But their context...
I know the spoilers, and I'm still like, what the...
That's my point. Their context could be completely different from what I view this movie as.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's how I'm going in. I'm not. I'm going in open-minded. It's a Godzilla movie. I love...
Yeah.
When I see the movie, that's when I make up my mind. I don't like the Kiryu saga. I've said this numerous times. I don't like those two movies. I watch them at least twice a year. I seriously do. When I go through my Godzilla blocks, those movies, I watch them because it's like with Star Wars. I don't like the Phantom Menace. Not the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I watch it anyway. And I watch Star Wars at least 3-4 times a year because that's my shit. But it's a part and I watch it. That's what I'm going to do with Shinji. And when I see it, that's when I base my decision. All I'm saying is right now, you cannot say that this is no different from what Godzilla has done in the past. Because it is. Because this is a separate entity. Whereas those, you saw an evolution. Again, a very loose timeline. But there was an evolution of the character itself. Not the powers, the character. From, again, Terra, anti-hero, superhero. There was. And in each one of those evolutions, we get silly things like flying with mist. And again, it's not mist. That's what they could do with the special effects of the time. You're trying to mislead people by saying, well, he was shooting mist out of his mouth and flying. No. We know what it was supposed to be. Supposed to be a fucking jet of fucking atomic flame that propelled them. We know that. But special effects, you got to think about it like that. You can't mislead people. You got to, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Now, for whatever reason, if Godzilla was to take off in this movie and fly, I'd understand and I'd buy that if he was on his back. I'm just saying. Fuck. I'm just saying. Yeah, fucking, he could do that. He does everything else. But anyhow, yes. So that's how I feel. Come back at me, or unless you want, Dawn, you want to say something?
I feel like they're trying to advertise this as a very serious movie, and his abilities are just a bit too over the top for me to take seriously.
I can buy that. I like that.
That was Evangelion. That was very taken seriously, and that was wacky.
Well, I've never seen Evangelion or Attack on Titan, so
but
I don't know what
here's the thing with Evangelion is that was an original IP. That's an original anime. You can do whatever you want.
And it's anime. Animes are known to be crazy.
Yeah, and you can do whatever you want. It's your thing. And again, yes, granted, Toho, I don't know, maybe learned from their mistakes. People really, really, really were pissed off with them in the Millennium Saga, letting Kitamura do what he did. Not letting Kaneko do what he wanted to do, which I think would have made a fantastic fucking GMK movie if it wasn't for Toho's studio interference. No, you got to put Mothra in it. You got to put King Ghidorah in it because they make money. No, Godzilla is the fucking draw. Godzilla's the draw. But yeah, anyway, we lost Gam Gam Z1. His phone crashed and he is out of the podcast. We will get him back next week. But just want to say goodbye and send him off. So if y'all don't hear him anymore, that's the reason he's off the podcast. Anyhow, yeah, you made a great point, Dawn. You want to take the movie serious, and then you see these wacky ass things. Let me stop saying that. These crazy things. Again, it could go one way or it could go the other way. I got to see it in context. Before I get back to Leonard here, because he's stewing. He's stewing. I see it. I love it. I love it. Final G, because we tried to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. What are your thoughts? I go either way. Whatever your opinions are in this conversation we just had.
Like from the evolving of
anything you want to,
or just his abilities in general?
The abilities in general. Anything you want to talk about that the debate we just had.
I'm going to agree with you because, or at least for the evolution, we saw Godzilla start off as this force of nature, metaphor to atomic bombs, nuclear radiation, all that important stuff. Then we saw him go towards, the anti-hero, and I think it started around Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, when Mothra sprays down Rodan and Godzilla in that one scene, and once Rodan gets it, he starts laughing his ass off. Like that scene, I think that very scene started off the reason why Godzilla went down this road. He just kept getting more childish after each movie.
Yeah.
And then when you hit around Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla and then Terror of Mechagodzilla, that's when they started to get serious again.
Yeah.
But, after that, it was too late to capture the demographic because, it was basically, they were aiming for children because, Ultraman was around there, Spectre Man was around there, so they were kind of cramping that demographic in. And then you move to the Heisei series where he's back as the anti-hero, maybe just until Space Godzilla, when he became sort of the hero, but still more an anti-hero. And then Millennium Saga, same thing. He's just the destroying monster and all that. And then Final Wars, I don't know, that movie was all over the place, but I'm going to say he's the anti-hero, but I don't know, it's kind of half and half. In terms of his abilities for Shinji, I'm going to stand behind my case that because there's a reason why he looks like this as a design-wise, so I'm pretty sure there's a reason why he has those abilities. And I'm also convinced they're probably going to do a sort of a religious standpoint. Like they might do like a nuclear standpoint in terms of a message, but I feel like it's more like leaning towards religion, maybe like I don't know, like God or demons or something like that.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I wouldn't
mind that because that's exactly what he did with Evangelion.
Okay, so then my question is, do you want to see Godzilla in, a rehash of Evangelion with Godzilla, or do you want to see something standalone?
For me, even if it's a mix of Evangelion, it's Godzilla in a new light nonetheless. That's what I've been waiting for a very, very long time. What a lot of people like is the Godzilla I know and love. I love it already. But I'm like, then you're jumping ahead, you like the same normality that Godzilla is. A lot of people do like the same normality of Godzilla. Yes, me personally, I hate that. I hate that it's bog standard every time. He does this, Godzilla wins. He does this, Godzilla wins. That's why I like the Heisei series a lot, because that was a bit of a mixed bag. Oh shit, Biollante just knocked down Godzilla, it's a draw. Oh shit, Godzilla died. Oh shit.
He dies again!
Kiryu, the Kiryu saga. Oh shit, Kiryu just slammed on Godzilla in the water like Space Jam. Done. I'm like, that's why I love GMK. It was a new spin on Godzilla. He's effectively a zombie. He's effectively unstoppable.
Holy shit!
Wait, you told the military from World War II or whatever. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's hysterical that you said that he's more zombie in GMK than he looks like a zombie in Shinji, but he's more zombie in GMK than
okay.
Wow, you fucking nailed it.
It's the idea. And it was religious standpoints in GMK. There was the spiritual aspect. Again, it was done by the director who did the Heisei Gamera trilogy, which I love to bits.
It's still the best.
And he put a new spin on Ghidorah, even. Everyone hates that version of Ghidorah.
I love that version of Ghidorah.
Okay, it's not the version, it's the size. When I think of King Ghidorah, man, I don't think of, he looks short and stumpy.
But that was the purpose of the plot. They said he was not fully grown, and then he grown when Mothra went into him. And even like the legendary King Ghidorah or whatever.
But even then, he looked still short and stumpy. Like Godzilla still looked taller than him because when that happened, wasn't Godzilla in the water already? Man. But I still love that movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
A new light on Godzilla is what I love. It's also why GMK is one of my favorite films. Why 1954 is one of my favorite films because it was a new idea at the time. And why Godzilla vs. Destroyer was my favorite. They all do something different with them. They throw something into the air that actually works. It works really well, and it gives you a new light. And it's also, I'm going to quickly relate to W argument. I love and hate the Message Destroyer. I love the sub of Message Destroyer because it conveyed the message best. I hated the dub because of, oh look, it's a monster. If you remember that part of the dub when it was playing.
Never seen the dub.
Oh look, it's a monster. No shit, dumbass. But like,
Yeah, y'all should be paying for this. That's a rant coming out of his mouth that's not on his page. Y'all should be paying for this.
it's a monster. It's right there. Like, it's a new light on Godzilla as well. That's why I'm looking forward to Shingy. That's why I am really confused by this. I like a new light on one, and this is exactly the perfect scenario to wait for. As much as I like the other films, excluding 1954, excluding 1944 specifically because that's the first film. I exempt that from the argument. They're still related, like you say, they're still related to Godzilla. They're still somewhat a part of the normality of what we know. He still does the usual things of what we know he does. The reason why I like what's going on here, it's different, it's new. I like it because I love Anno. I love what he's done with his stuff in the past as well. And I like that he's adding what he's learned then to now. And like he's doing a different spin on it, and I fucking love that. I love that idea. It's great because for me, I've been waiting for a chance for me to have a new breather. Because recently, I have been for a long time, is why I ran. I have been so bogged down in Godzilla for so long, and what people say about him, how many people praise him, how many people do whatever they want with him. And I'm like, God, this is shit tiring. Because if we didn't get a new refresher, it's great. And of course there's going to be a mixed bag when someone throws something new to the wall, whether it sticks or slides off like a piece of shit. Well, either way, like, it's going to make people either like, oh my God, this is amazing, it's something new, like me. Or, oh my God, this is fucking terrible, I don't like this, it's not what I like. Or
Like
it's
me.
something that looks insane.
Like me.
Like, there we go. Of course it's going to do that. Because it's something new. We don't like change here. Natural human reaction. But it's something new. They're going, why not? And that's what Godzilla's been to me for ages. Why the fuck not can't he do this? Why the fuck not? Whether it's a new IP, or if it's LinkedIn recently, or if it's a reboot, I don't care. It's always been, question isn't why, it's why the fuck not? It's because, of course, we don't know how it's going to go. It's only released in Japan, and we chuckling to this day when everyone said, I'm going to pirate it. How's that going well, guys, when you find out you can't get a reliable sub? But, like, we of course, most of us haven't seen it yet because it's slowly releasing. We don't know how it's going to go. Of course we don't know how it's going to go. It's got to keep a neutral mind. You've got to keep an open mind to these sort of things. I'm burning myself out. I'm tired.
Don't worry.
But, like, it's something new. We don't like change. Natural human reaction, we don't like change. So I mean, when it's something we love and know, when you throw something that's different, it's going to have a lot of negative reaction. Or have some positive, because some people like change like me.
Okay,
And,
I totally.
that's basically it.
I totally buy that, and I'm happy what you said. I will not argue that point, especially because you love the difference, and that's fine, 100% fine, because I do love different too. And again, it all comes down to content and context. When we see it, when it makes sense, not if, when it makes sense, there's gonna be a smile on my face bigger than Jack Nicholson's Joker. Okay. And I totally buy that. So I'm with you on that shit. Still crazy. I was gonna say stupid, but I caught myself. Still crazy. But again, we don't know what's going on, and I like that idea. It's weird, but it's what it is. Alex, because you haven't said anything, your thoughts?
Yeah, I do want to say a thing about that. One thing, we already got a reboot of Godzilla in 2014. Godzilla himself, I know people just like the plot and all that, but Godzilla himself is pretty much the same as what we've always got. You know, he doesn't have crazy powers. He looks like Godzilla, done. You know, and
Uh-oh. Yo, Alex, you there?
It's gone muted.
Oh, he went mute. Well, he was about to say something about 24. Oh, wait, I think he's back.
Oh, sorry. Someone came in the room, but what also makes me happy about Shin Godzilla is the reviews are good, and people coming out of it and saying it's not over the top, it's not crazy, it makes sense. If it did not make sense, it wouldn't be getting the scores it's getting, and the people going, for it. So that part excites me as well with the change. So it seems it's getting mostly positive reviews from what people are saying. Even regulars that don't like, regular moviegoers that don't like Godzilla are coming out and saying they like it. So that's something good, I guess. And that gets me more excited to see this change.
Well, we can't really base that on anything because regular moviegoers that don't like Godzilla, that would be outside of the country. I don't know how many people who don't like Godzilla in the country are going to see that movie. For instance, I don't go take myself to see Disney movies. I got a 12-year-old daughter. She's ripe for those movies, I don't go out of my way to go see those movies and take her to see those movies. No, I take her to shit like Ghostbusters, unfortunately. I'll take her to see Batman v Superman, Captain America, Civil War, Star Wars. So I don't know if, somebody who don't like Godzilla in Japan, that I find hard to believe. I'd rather take people, like, when we get it, well, let's be for real here. Only the fans are going to see this movie when it comes out in the States, in the UK, in Canada. It's only going to be the fans. And grand total, I hope it makes $20 million when it's combined. That would be nice because we don't know the budget. And yes, I would like to see Godzilla continue. Here's the thing. Will it continue knowing that there's going to be a legendary sequel? Knowing that Kong Skull Island is coming out and they want to set up Godzilla versus King Kong. There's so many variables right now that Toho has to deal with. We don't know what's going to happen. Are they banking everything on this movie? Are they banking on the fact that this is a radically different Godzilla movie? Especially since right now, at least, Legendary has gotten it right. Whether fans want to agree or disagree, the money came in and it was more than enough to garner a sequel. I mean, it was like $160 million to make and it made over $500 million. So, yeah, that's a sequel. We don't know what Shinji made, but we know it. We don't know what it cost to make, I should say, but we know it made at least $26 to $27 million. So,
but I'm sure Toho didn't want to equal the American in terms of it's the same Godzilla, it's the same look and the same powers. They probably want to make it different. Like, this is our radical different Godzilla compared to the Legendary. To get people excited. Because when we saw Godzilla how he looked, that was a debate for months. If it was just normal Godzilla, we probably wouldn't be talking about it for more than 2 weeks, to be honest.
G95 said it the best. He said when America does a Godzilla movie, Toho counters with a radically different Godzilla. Now, let's not forget, G98 was a radically different Godzilla movie. I mean, that wasn't even... Again, Gino, Godzilla in name only, okay? I like the movie, not as a Godzilla flick, but I like it as a monster movie, okay?
I will defend that movie to my dying day. That was my first Godzilla movie.
But see, and that's one of the things I touched on earlier. It depends on the age. G14 came out, and it nailed Godzilla. It was pretty much what Godzilla meant to at least Gareth Edwards when he was growing up. And I felt the same fucking way. Because I thought G14 was going to go completely different, and they wound up going Showa. I was like, what the fuck? And it made me realize how much I love the Showa movies. As Godzilla being a hero. He wasn't an anti-hero. He wasn't just in there at this time like, oh, fuck, there's some dudes here. Let me just beat them up because I can. No, he actively sought them out and destroyed them.
I don't know why. I came out of G14 very disappointed.
We're going to talk about that. You'll be on that podcast. Believe me when I say that. Don't worry. We're all going to be on those podcasts. Trust me. But anyhow, look, we are running over and we ain't getting paid for this. So, let's wrap this son of a bitch up let's get some final thoughts here. I'm going to start with you. Oh, wait. Before I do that, Dawn, you're the new one here. Go for broke without overdoing it with spoilers, okay?
Okay.
Go for broke. I want to hear your thoughts on Shinji and everything you've seen so far.
Like I said, it looks, to me, that's Gino, from what I've seen. To me, the design is weird. To me, it's Freddy Krueger meets Godzilla. That's what it looks like to me. I'm sorry.
So, you don't like what you're seeing?
I'm not excited for this movie at all.
Well, I'll tell you this. Again, you are very precise and to the point. More so than Gam Gam Z1. Because he went on a rant.
had one job, and I think they failed.
All right. Oh, there you go. That was quick, short, and... Yeah?
Give it to me, I'm blunt.
Yeah. That was less than a minute. So that has to be the fastest Shinji reaction ever on this G-Show page. So, final thoughts on the podcast. We'll start with you, Dawn.
Well, I liked it. I think we did good.
Anything you want to say? Anything that stood out to you?
No, I liked the debate we had on sub versus dub because I hadn't really thought about that. If it comes to it subtitled, I might have an issue with it because I'd have to sit kind of close because I'm. And here's another thing they have to consider: I'm nearsighted, so I would have to sit really close.
Right.
So for me to have to sit there and read a film would be very difficult for me.
Gotcha.
So I would need it dubbed.
Well, you have an excuse and you have your way out. I can't knock you for that. I won't be mad at you. Alex, final thoughts.
I love this podcast. I just wish we can talk about some stuff more spoiler-y in more detail, but that's another day for another weekend. But I loved it. I think I definitely got in the gist of where everyone stands in this film.
Gotcha. Final Goji, you came in late, but nevertheless, you were, again, awesome. Your final thoughts.
Fantastic podcast. Lots of fun.
I love you. And Gam Gam Z1, final thoughts. All right, he left already. he had technical issues.
I disagree with him again.
But hey, shout out to Gam Gam Z1 for being on the podcast. Thank you, brother. I love you very much. Shout outs to those who weren't here. G73, who is always here, he wasn't able to make it today. G95, he's staying away from spoilers, so he didn't want to be on this podcast. But finally, Gorgo, Leonard, Manda, final thoughts. Anything you want to say?
I think I pretty much vomited it all out earlier. Violently. Like a very, very violent epidemic that was. It was fun debating it. Because it's rarely that I ever get someone who has a very, very, very different standpoint to me. Because I tend to vomit it. People either agree with me or they just swear at me very loudly. And with the edgiest threats from neo-Nazi fanboys. It's very rare that I ever get an opposite standpoint to my arguments. And it's healthy for me to get that. It means I can develop them further and think about it very carefully. Definitely next time I'm going to think about it very carefully. At this point, I just want a picture of me probably beating a senseless fanboy to death. Just punching him. It was good, but all I can really say is my final point to my argument is nature's unpredictable. Nature's a force that is unpredictable, and as much as we like to try to predict it, we can't. We like to think we know what it does. We like to think it'll throw a hurricane and bang. No, it may just give us something new one day. We don't know what that is. That's the concept of Godzilla. That's what I think Shin Gojira is trying to encompass once again. Who knows? All I know it could be a mutated frog for all I know, and we'll have Geno 2.0. Who knows? But and Anna could be the Emmerich of Japan.
Oh my! No.
You're gonna give me nightmares.
Oh my god!
Twisted
That
turtle.
was
We
great.
love
I like
Evangeline. No, fuck. Guess what's happened now?
Oh my!
I guess that's what Attack on Titan fans feel sometimes about the films. Oh god, but
You're gonna get so much hate, dude.
every day. Like,
Feed me your hate.
every day on Google, every day on GNA, check them out. It happens. God, nature's unpredictable. Nature's an unstoppable force, and we may think it can throw whatever it can at us, but someday it may come out with something new, and it could be the end of us. That's what Godzilla encompasses. That's what Godzilla is. That's why when I see this stuff he's doing in Shin Godzilla, I'm like, nature's doing it again. Nature's just throwing something out there and going, fucking suck it. Like, that's basically it. That's my final thought.
Man, I love this podcast. I love it. I love being a part of it. I love hosting it. I love you guys as my panel. I'm telling you, this was one of my favorites, and I say that a lot, but this one was one of my favorites. I just want to say I am G1, and thank you everybody for joining me on the best damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on, because it is the only damn Godzilla podcast I've ever been on. You're listening to the Godzilla Block Party. I am G1, and we are out. Peace.